We live on a planet spinning silently through space, completing a full rotation every 24 hours. This constant motion shapes our days, nights, and the very rhythm of life. We rarely notice it, but it's the foundation of our world. But what if, in a single instant, Earth's rotation stopped? The consequences would be catastrophic, an unimaginable chain reaction of destruction. The planet's spin is not just a cosmic quirk, it's the engine of our weather, our magnetic field, and the stability of our oceans. Without it, the machinery of our world would collapse. The result, a planet divided into extremes, a world of fire and ice. Let's explore what would happen, step by step, if Earth's ancient spin came to a sudden halt. We'll witness the immediate chaos and the slow transformation that follows. This isn't fantasy, it's a thought experiment grounded in physics. The story of a planet that stopped spinning is a stark reminder of how delicate our world truly is. It's a journey to the edge of planetary science. Imagine the unimaginable, the end of the world as we know it. What would survive? What would be lost forever? Let's begin our descent into a world without spin. The cosmic carousel stops here. Welcome to the end of Earth's rotation. At the equator, Earth spins at over 1,600 kilometers per hour, faster than sound. Everything on the surface, oceans, air, you and me, moves with it. If the planet's crust suddenly stopped, inertia would fling everything eastward at supersonic speeds. Buildings, trees, even mountains would be ripped from their foundations. The ground would halt, but the world upon it would not. The friction and energy unleashed would dwarf any nuclear explosion. A global firestorm would ignite as debris scraped across the land. The crust itself could fracture under the strain. For any living creature, the experience would be instant and final. You'd be launched at unimaginable speed. No body could survive. This is Newton's first law on a planetary scale. Motion doesn't stop just because the ground does. The great deceleration would be the opening act of Earth's transformation. In minutes, the familiar world would be erased. The violence of this moment would set the stage for everything that follows. The planet's tragedy has only begun. Earth's atmosphere spins with the planet, carrying immense momentum. When the ground stops, the air keeps going, creating a planet-wide blast wave. Supersonic winds would scour the surface, eroding rock and obliterating cities and forests. The friction would ignite global firestorms, turning the sky dark with ash and dust. The roar would be deafening, the pressure deadly. For hours, the air itself would be a force of annihilation. Eventually, the winds would subside, but the world left behind would be barren and unrecognizable. The atmosphere, choked with debris, would block out the sun for years. The great wind would be over, but the consequences for climate and geography would just begin. The planet's surface would be forever changed. The oceans, like the air, would surge eastward, creating a global tsunami. Water would sweep over continents, scouring the land clean. Without the centrifugal force of spin, oceans would migrate toward the poles. The result, two massive polar seas, drowning northern and southern regions. The equator would reveal a new supercontinent, a vast, arid belt of land. Familiar coastlines would vanish, entire continents would disappear beneath the waves. The world's geography would be rewritten in hours. Former seabeds would become deserts and the poles would be deep, dark oceans. The transition between these zones would be marked by dramatic cliffs and coastlines. The wandering oceans would create a new Earth, one of two poles and a single lonely continent. The planet's face would be unrecognizable. Earth's spin drives the Coriolis effect, shaping storms and wind patterns. Without rotation, this system collapses. The Coriolis effect vanishes. Weather becomes brutally simple. Air rises on the sunlit side, creating a permanent low-pressure zone, and sinks on the dark side, forming a high-pressure zone. A single, planet-spanning wind cell emerges, constant, powerful, and relentless. The twilight zone between day and night becomes a permanent storm front, racked by perpetual thunderstorms. Seasons would still exist, but the planet would be divided into scorched, frozen, and storm-racked zones. Weather would become a static state of extremes. The dynamic rhythms of climate would be lost forever. The world would be locked in perpetual tempest and desolation. With no spin, a day would last a year, 6 months of unending daylight, 6 months of darkness. The sun-facing side would become a furnace, temperatures soaring above boiling. Water would evaporate, land would crack, and life would be sterilized by relentless heat. The night side would freeze, plunging into cryogenic cold, the atmosphere itself snowing out as ice. Only a narrow twilight band between day and night might be marginally habitable. Here, the sun would hover on the horizon, but violent storms would rage constantly. Survival would be possible only in this thin, chaotic ribbon. The gentle cycle of sunrise and sunset would be gone forever. The planet would be divided into realms of fire ice and perpetual storm. Life as we know it could not endure. Earth's spin creates a slight centrifugal force, making you weigh less at the equator. Without spin, this force vanishes. You'd feel slightly heavier everywhere. The effect is small but constant. Over generations, life would adapt. Animals might grow stockier, plants sturdier. The planet itself would slowly become more spherical, losing its equatorial bulge. This shift would trigger massive earthquakes and volcanic activity as the crust adjusts. The change in gravity would quietly reshape biology and geology. The ground beneath our feet would never be the same. Even subtle forces can have profound effects over time. The silent spin of Earth has shaped everything we know. Earth's magnetic field, generated by its spinning core, shields us from deadly solar and cosmic radiation. If the planet stopped spinning, the geodynamo would fail and the magnetic field would collapse. Solar wind would strip away the atmosphere, as happened to Mars. Radiation levels would skyrocket, lethal to most life. Electronics would fry, satellites would die, and civilization would be plunged into darkness. The auroras would vanish, a silent sign of our lost shield. Earth would be exposed to the full fury of space. The collapse of the magnetic field would be insidious and inescapable. Our planet would become a vulnerable, irradiated world. The consequences would be permanent. Could anything survive such devastation? Surface life would be wiped out by winds, tsunamis, temperature extremes, and radiation. But life is resilient. Deep-sea organisms and extremophile bacteria might endure, shielded from the chaos above. Humanity's only hope would be deep underground bunkers or nomadic existence in the twilight zone. Society would be reduced to scattered, desperate survivors. Over millions of years, evolution might adapt life to the new world. Heat-loving, radiation-resistant organisms could arise on the day side. Cold-adapted life might persist in the dark. The twilight zone would be a realm of perpetual storms and constant migration. Life's next chapter would be written in the language of survival. The story of Earth would continue, but in a world forever changed.